Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video, and this video should be a quick and highly helpful video for you. So essentially what I'm going to show you is how all of these important recipes, yeah, you see them right here, change the game in Ark, and people do not utilize them enough. They have some really awesome features, anything from increasing your hypothermic or hypothermal insulation, reducing the amount of water you consume, to making you a super speed, super strong, unkillable rock, essentially. And that's just, just the start of it. So these are the recipes of Ark, and let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go ahead and start. Simple thing, if you don't know how to make these, basically you can use any of these things off to my side over here. You just need a cooking pot, a cooking cooker or industrial cooker, or if you're playing like an S Plus mod, you can use a actual tech cooking pot, and they will make everything quite a bit easier. They're pretty cheap to make. They're just basic resources, so having a farm is pretty important when it comes to this stuff. Now, that being said, each one of these has a special thing that you can basically make with it. The Enduro Stew, commonly unused and actually pretty cheap to make, as you can see right there, will give you plus 35% melee damage, and you also, for 15 minutes, get 1.2 health per second. So you actually increase your health and stamina regeneration. It is really, really, really nice. This also helps you just like maintain a certain, just a high level of health. If you're like in PvP or in a hard boss fight or something, it's like draining your health slowly, this will help a ton. Now that's an easy one, so there's some easy stats. Now let's say you want to use something like a Focal Chili. Now the Focal Chili, everyone knows that it gives you a massive boost in your crafting ability, 100% when you use this bad boy. But what you probably didn't know is you get a plus 25% movement speed with this thing as well. So if you want to play PvP, having a Focal Chili will increase your crafting skill, but that plus 25 movement speed is absolutely bonkers. So you can take a couple of these at the exact same time, lasting 900 seconds. You can see the cooldown on my lower side over there. This is me just like no sprint. So that is a huge boost in your movement speed, which is really, really, really awesome, obviously. So that's that. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the next thing, the underwater, champion. This is the Lazarus Chowder. Now, obviously you can see that it's got a pretty crazy thing, but what it does is it allows you to have literally almost 15 minutes underwater without losing any oxygen. You lose about 90% less oxygen underwater when you are having the Lazarus Chowder. So your oxygen will go down, however it's incredibly slow, and you can last underwater for a very, very long time. This will also allow you to gain stamina while you are swimming, so you can literally just swim forever. So normally you would actually lose stamina when you're riding the back of a water mount. So a little tip for this guy, you can use this and never run out of stamina underwater, and that helps a ton because it's going to gain that just constant swimming ability, or riding the back of your mount ability, and that is huge. So definitely utilize that if you can. And again, these things are pretty cheap to make. Just so you can see right here, where is it? The Lazarus Chowder, and that's what it is. Pretty awesome stuff. You can see its description, but I'll give you specific numbers for it. Now, one thing that is uncommonly, you can see the S Plus beer jar right there. Beer actually reduces incoming damage, but everyone already knows this. Basically reduces heavily the amount of damage that you take off of bullets or just in general. However, after you're done with the side effect of beer, you get hungover and you lose stamina for however long. You can use these things in order to outlast the beer, which is pretty huge, and yeah, it's pretty nice to have access to. So we're gonna go ahead and move into this though. We'll keep going down the pathway here. Now, next up, the Kalian Soup. Now, this bad boy right here is plus 50 thermo or hyperthermic, so thermo is what I think, insulation. And you also lose about 25 to 30% water consumption while having it. So again, you can stack this boost, and notice how I've got all four stacked up right now. Pretty awesome, obviously, when I'm going through those things. And you can stack a bunch of these things together, and it's pretty neato when you have those stacked, because you get all of those bonuses. So you've got crazy movement speed, crazy stamina regeneration, crazy reduced water consumption, hypothermic insulation, or hyperthermic insulation, and it really helps hyperthermic if you're going through any sort of like hot temperature. Pretty cool. So that's just that. Now, again, pretty cheap to make. You can't complain too much about it. Now, the opposite basically of the Kalian soup is the Freya curry. Now, this guy right here, it's a hearty meal is what it says on there. It gives you just like the opposite of the Kalian, plus 50 hypothermic insulation, and then minus 25% food consumption. So the other one reduces water consumption. This reduces food consumption, and you can stack it as well. Notice how I've got all 5 stacked right now. Yeah, my character's pretty awesome right now. Lower food consumption, totally happy with the local environment. You can see massive boosts in the hypo and hyperthermic insulation. And let's just say I was like, take this off, right? If I was to take it off, I'd still have pretty good insulation. Huge, huge boosts. Now, the next few things are actually pretty obvious. These are your medical and energy brews. Now, what they are capable of is they are literally able to give you the ability to increase healing and increase your stamina regeneration. It does it over about 5 seconds, almost 5 seconds exactly, and you will gain either 40 health over 5 seconds or 40 energy. Now, it will compile a lot of it right up front, so you can have like 10 of these at the same time and they will stack on top of each other, but it's not like you're going to heal faster. It's just going to essentially stack that buff to make it happen faster. So they're pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory, good to hold on to. Obviously, if I take one of these, you'll increase your everything. You know, it's pretty nice, not too bad. The benefit about the energy brew is it doesn't reduce your food or water. It just allows you to have more stamina, which is pretty awesome. Now, here is the PvP champion. However, people don't realize a couple hidden stats about this. If you take the Shadow Steak Saute, it actually increases both your hyperthermic and hypothermic insulation by 50. Yeah, by 50. So it's actually more, or a little bit more, than the other two things, I guess the same, Freya curry, but you have all of those things that can compound. So notice this, you can have a crazy amount of hypo and hyperthermic insulation, and it reduces your weapon sway almost to non-existent numbers. People guesstimate somewhere between 70 and 90% for that weapon recoil. I barely even notice any if you have a weapon out. So if you like have any weapon sway, take one of these and boom, all that weapon sway is basically, there's still a tiny bit, but long distance shots are no longer a concern for you. Pretty cool though. Now you can make it pretty cheap as well. So you can go in there and you can see not something that's expensive. Now, the next few things are very rarely used, but they are very important. This is the Battle Tartar. This is heavily underused because people like you lose health and it's unstoppable, and you know, I'm not going to take this, which is kind of stupid because this thing is an absolute monster. The Battle Tartar gives you plus 65% melee damage, plus 15% damage resistance, so you reduce the amount of damage incoming. Yes, you can stack these effects. Look at that right there. It does remove an effect. I'll let you notice that. But it also stacks. And then you also gain plus 50% movement speed, plus 50% water and food consumption. So you will go through your food and water very rapidly. And then you're also going to lose 0.45 health per second. Now, that means you're going to lose around 90 to 100 HP total. So if you have a high health point character, you are going to be able to outlast this easily. So more people need to be using this, and you can very simply just take yourself some med brews, like you see right here. Yeah, that right there. And it will literally increase your health faster than you can lose it, which is very awesome. Now you're also going to have increased stamina regeneration, so it's a really overall just like absolute monster thing. It looks like it's an egg on top of a steak, but you know, it's underused and it needs to be used more because you can literally outdo the effects, the negatives that it causes for you. Now, the last two, pretty useless, honestly, except for the purposes they have. Mind Wipe Tonic, pretty simple. You reset your stats. It doesn't give you any special boost. It's an instantaneous reset, so a lot of people use that. There's nothing special you get from that. And then there's the Broth of Enlightenment. This guy doesn't do anything other than give you plus 50% experience gain, which is obviously pretty big. So yeah, definitely take advantage of that if you can. And that is something that you can use to definitely kill Giganotosauruses or whatever you're doing to try and gain experience. And you will gain literally double it, almost double it, plus 50%. So, not too bad. Math teacher, not what I am. So, that is all of these things explained. Hopefully this helps you guys, because I know a lot of people do not use these things, and you really should. The last thing is the cactus broth, I suppose, but that just reduces your water consumption, and it also kind of hides you from the local bugs and stuff like that, basically. Anyways, hopefully this video does help you out. If you have any questions about the other stuff, make sure and let me know. But hopefully you can use these buffs and stack them in certain ways in order to make yourself a much better Ark player. So, this is how you peak in Ark. Definitely use these things. All right. Hopefully this helps. Teach.